Hi, I'm Brian Spitz with Big State Homebuyers, and today we're going to talk a little bit about squatters, tenants, and how to get people out of your house that are not supposed to be there. A big reason people come to Big State Homebuyers to sell their house is because they're tired of being landlords, or they're interested in just getting rid of a property that's been a rental or got people in it that they don't want in there anymore. And a lot of people call us and say, oh, there's someone squatting in my property. Well, in reality, squatters are actually a very specific type of person occupying the house. So what I like to do today is talk to you a little bit about the different types of occupants, different types of people that could be there, and what really a squatter is. There's three types of people, other than yourself, of course, occupying a house. You either have a tenant, a trespasser, or a squatter. There's two types of tenants. You have tenants at will or tenants at sufferance. A tenant at will is someone that you've given permission to live in your property. Whether it's through a written lease or some sort of oral agreement, you have welcomed this person into the house and you are probably accepting rental payments from them. And even if the lease expires and you still continue to accept rent from that person, then you're still in a tenant at will relationship. In a tenant at will relationship in the state of Texas, you have to give the occupant 30 days notice to find somewhere else to go if you're not willing to rent it to them anymore. A second one is a tenant at sufferance. The law recognizes that if you had at one point granted somebody the ability to live in your house with permission, then even if you've changed your mind or the lease has expired and you don't want to renew it, that person is a tenant at sufferance. They're not a trespasser, they're not a squatter, because at one point in time you did allow them willingly to live there. And that person you also need to give notice to. If they're not paying rent, then you can move to the eviction process. Then we come to people that are occupying your property that never had permission to be there. The first of which is a trespasser. A trespasser is someone who has come to stay in the property that's used some sort of burglary or illegal method to get into the house and is occupying it. Whereas a squatter is somebody who's occupying your house with the intent to take title to it. So it's a really specific type of person who has an objective to gain title to your property, whether it's a piece of land or whether it's a house. And in the state of Texas, it has to be a very defined boundary. So it has to be clear what the lot of land is or what property it is. It can't just be, your neighbor's yard or another farm next door. It has to be something very specific. And in order for someone to gain squatter's rights and to take title to your house, which is also called adverse possession, then it has to meet certain criteria. And in the state of Texas, it's really specific and it's actually really tough to achieve adverse possession. So squatters, they have rights once it gets to a certain point, but there are a whole lot of conditions that have to be met, and there's a lot of things that you can do long before they ever gain any right to the property. One of the interesting things about adverse possession is that the intent has to be adverse, meaning that the person staying in there has to be staying and wanting title to the property with adverse intention to everybody else that could own it. And that may sound logical, but in reality, a lot of cases there's multiple heirs where a lot of people have a claim to the house. That's not what this is. This is someone that's stepping in and saying it's mine and no one else's. A second requirement for adverse possession and a squatter's rights is that they have continuous possession, meaning that they occupy it and they're staying there and they have to prove that they've been able to stay there. And that can include things like paying taxes, although contrary to popular belief, just because you pay taxes for someone else's property doesn't give you squatter's rights. But that is one of the many things that you could do in addition to paying utilities, and you'd have to have people testify that you have been occupying it continuously for various amounts of time depending on the situation. It has to be an open situation where you're not hiding that you're staying there. You are out in the open stating that this is your property, that you are living there continuously and it is only yours, and that this is an exclusivity. It kind of goes back to adverse, because adverse is like a negative intention, and exclusive is where no one else has any co-tenancy or co-ownership in the property. This is not somebody who is a family member. This is not someone with a right claim to the property. This is a lot of times in the old common law, this was for like farmers and people who were taking care of neighbors' lands and making it their own and really looking after it and paying taxes on it and everything else. What you can do to get rid of a squatter or to get rid of a tenant that is not paying and you want out of the property is to go through the eviction process. So if you have any questions about whether the person occupying your property has any legal rights to be there, call Big State Homebuyers or visit us bigstatehomebuyers.com, and we'll offer you as much information as we can and also provide you a free quote on how you can sell the property. We'll take over that problem, use our legal resources to do it. It's also really important, maybe the most important thing, is that you don't try to tackle this yourself. It's important that you get a legal professional or professional company like Big State Homebuyers to help you with this process. So good luck to you, and let us know how we can help.